Hi, and welcome to another Boom Web Search Technology explanatory video. Today we're going to be evaluating new versus used hard drives in order to make an overall statement for new system builders or ones that are looking to upgrade / add hard drives, if you should go with a new or a used hard drive. And we're also going to be explaining our reasoning behind the decision. We're going to be presenting the arguments from both sides of the debate, whether it be good or bad, and we're also going to be stating towards the disadvantages and the advantages, meaning good or bad, and how they're relevant directly to if those advantages outweigh the disadvantages or if they don't. And that's going to go towards in the end in our evaluation statement to show once and for all which is going to be the optimal decision in most cases for purchasing hard drives, whether you should go used or whether you should go new, right after we roll out our short video intro segment. Okay, so we have a lot of talking points to go over pertaining to both sides of the argument, used and new, and then we're going to have to put them together and make an overall statement towards whether new or used is better for the component of computer hard drives. So let's go right into the video with our first slide topic, which is going to be to say what we're trying to cover and what we're not trying to cover within this video. And this is kind of like a possible inaccuracy disclaimer statement. We're not trying to guarantee that what we state here is applicable to all cases, whether it be pertaining to used or new. And with careful purchasing, you could get a used component with sufficient durability at an overall better value. Although sometimes new is a better choice for reliability reasons, and that's how it is for most of the time. In the end, it's your option as the customer towards where you're going to go with it, if you're going to go with used or if you're going to go with new. Or even you may opt to go with certified refurbished or other options which are similar. Consider this video as kind of being a buyer's guide, which is to be taken in the sense that you should put it with a grain of salt in order to make sure that what we're going to state is going to be applicable to what you are actually dealing with for your situation. And what we're stating within this video is for best practice recommendation purposes, although we make our overall best efforts to ensure that what we state is going to be right for most overall cases when dealing with components involving a new and used buying path. Although that being said, we can't guarantee that your decision to buy, whether it be any decision to buy computer hardware, will last, and any experienced troubles basically can't be pathed back to our recommendations, since now I'm going to disclaim those, as I'm going to warn you that these are best practice recommendations and that failure of hardware, damage, loss of data, all of that thing is all possible, and currently at the moment of today's technology we can't avoid those with hard drives yet, although we can take many steps to try to avoid those, as some of which will be explained in future slides. So Okay, now we've gotten through that pertaining to what we're trying to say and what we're not trying to say, and what things you should expect within the video. We're going to go with our first kind of thing where we accumulate the disadvantages and advantages with going with used, and then we're going to do it with new. So this is going to be overall like general with computer hardware and not going to be specific this time. So when it comes to computer hardware in general, used and new components have many disadvantages and advantages which may make them more optimal given different circumstances when it comes to computer components. We plan on continuing to present this video series pertaining to used and or new buying paths for computer hardware, and we're going to be evaluating them. So stay tuned for future uploads and let me know what you'd like for us to evaluate in a new versus used standpoint format. New components usually present better reliability, lower chances of encountering system issues, including those which could prevent the operation of your system and potentially result in damage to other components that go with it, such as if your power supply fails. And new components usually come with a warranty and are the best option if you want something that you need to count on to last a long time. Used usually presents better cost value and could offer better performance that you're going to be given with the same budget. So what I'm trying to say here is that used is going to give you better value most of the times, and for this given amount of money you can probably have, let's say for this case, more storage. Although we are taking a kind of drawback in that the drive has already been used, and that use is going to lower the lifespan that we have with it left. Our next topic is going to be an argument for new drives. So this is kind of going both sides, so we're going to do disadvantages, advantages of new, disadvantages and advantages of used, and then our overall statement combining and weighing the disadvantages and advantages for both sides of new and used. New hard drives are usually better overall for mission critical operation, where downtime caused by a failure of a drive, such as from motor failure or a head drive crash, can potentially be the cause of hundreds of dollars lost from potential sales or productivity. And for usage in storage of content files, such as from the videos we make, we went with new drives for warranty and protection from failure by having the manufacturer be willing to take the drive back and recover the data free of charge in the case of there's premature failure from manufacturer defects or something along those lines. So the warranty is also protecting your data, which is a good thing. And I'm not going to say that's for all manufacturers, although at the moment Seagate is the one that offers this for some of their drives, if it's not expired, of course. And note that those don't last forever, so there's like a certain year time frame that the drive can go, and after that it's not going to be covered still. But most of the times they've actually found that the drives that are dying earlier are from manufacturer defects. So for the extra guarantee of reliability in our servers and even in our workstation computer for video casting and then recording and even in the editing stages, we went with Seagate's drives in new condition. And Now the way we're having it set up is the drives are in a redundant array, protecting them against data loss. If one of the drives fails, then we swap it out with another, and the RAID array is rebuilt. No harm is done, really. And now we're having it so that after every footage is recorded and everything in the end is all rendered together in one video and then published, we have the files left over from the project transferred into the archive server, and we're hoping that in future network upgrades we can change it to where everything is run off the server, although because the network speed for reading and writing is hindered by the network and the speed limitation, we're keeping it now to this process, so when we're doing things like timeline scrubbing and editing, we don't have much issues with lag and latency and things of that nature. So if you are working with highly important videos or files to that nature, then you want to go with new drives for a reputable manufacturer for peace of mind purposes and for reliability, in order to ensure the lowest chances of failure of your drive. Same thing if you want to buy a drive and have it last as long as possible. So if you want to have a drive right now and have it last as long as you can, then you want the maximum lifespan of it. So therefore you're going to want to get with a new drive, since the used ones already have some definite portion of their longevity shortened from use from one or more owners in the past. And usually that's kept unknown, and that brings up a lot of questions towards the integrity of those drives. So used drives present a risk most of the times, especially if the manufacturer of the used drive is not known well. Then they could purposely inject a hidden malware into the drive, and that could compromise your data. So that's another reason for going with new drives, since for data security, reliability, and all of those reasons combined, new drives are going to be the way to go. For used drives, if you're not dealing with sensitive information, let's say, and you're not going to be needing it to last very long in the case, then you can usually get away with having more value-oriented options with a used hard drive, but you're putting it at the expense of the remaining time that you can use the hard drive and its longevity lowered, since we've already known that it's been used. So this could be in an abuse scenario where mining software is used for hours and hours, and the computational data is being stored on it, written over, and then swapped out constantly. So that could put additional read and write strain, which is not good and not what you want. So we can only do is to hope that our drive is not abused, although there are some settings in software and some count values within drive manufacturer software, and basically that can go in and show you which ones you want to assess, and then the test will show you the results. This also will show how many hours the drive is run, the data on ran through the drive and things of that nature. You want those values usually lower, and you definitely don't want it to show you that the drive is about to fail. In that case, you don't want to be dealing with it. The lower the hours the drive is spun, the greater life you have of it left. So that's what you want to go for. Many times for value-based competitions between system builders, they'll usually go with used, so it's just enough to get them to the end of the competition for them to hopefully win, and then not need to worry about if it's going to go any farther than that. Although they are taking a very small risk that it won't work by the tests that they're going to run, but the use is usually for a limited amount of time, and therefore the risk is worth it for them. Also, I'm always going to recommend that you store your data in many places, so if your drive fails, then you're going to have your data in another place. There's greater value when you buy used drives, and you can get more storage for a given amount of money, although the cost of longevity, as I've said before, and that makes used drives good for temporary use and or use in non-mission critical applications. And that includes, let's say, watching YouTube videos, for example, or things like, let's say, I'm going to go away from many people say is like checking email, as the malware could go in and cause damage. Although it's not really mission critical, since the worst thing could happen is it just turns off. Although the best thing to say is that non-mission critical, like if it's going to be used for client records, for example, then you definitely don't want it. If it's like medical client records, then the information stored there, if it's compromised, it could result in the firm being sued or things of that nature, and therefore definitely you don't want those, so go for new drives in that case. Although for certain usages where you're going to upgrade anyways, you're pretty sure that there's not any malware or anything like that on the drive, it's from a reputable seller that you trust, and you're not going to trust it completely with any important or sensitive data, then it could make a possible value case and be optimal for that type of situation. Now we're going to go into our overall recommendation when it comes to hard drive, new versus used. Despite instances where many people have been in favor of used drives for value reasons and for usages in applications best described as temporary and non-critical, we are going to recommend getting new storage for your computer system, whether you are building a new system or looking for an external hard drive, or even adding more storage to an existing system, since data could really be important, and it would be absolutely horrible if you had the important data of a client lost. A failed drive has chances of its data being brought back by data recovery specialists, although it's not guaranteed, and if you're wanting to go that route, which you obviously shouldn't, although if you're forced to go that route would be the best way to say it, for best recovery chances, you want to not use a drive when it's about to fail, and you just want to get it shipped to a recovery facility as soon as possible so they can begin working on fixing the drive, hopefully temporarily, so that they can get the data off the platters, or sometimes they'll just try to read from the platters directly, and then usually they'll send it back to you on another drive, and there you have your data back. Although that's usually quite expensive, could cost many thousands, so better to be safe in archiving your data than face the possible risk of that. And the worst thing is it's not even guaranteed. So if you have really important data, it's always going to be better to have a backup. And that's why I'm going to overall state for this video that you should just stick to buying new hard drives. And oftentimes you will have the benefit of higher efficiency and speed than older models that are trying to be sold. And the older models that are being sold are usually older and not as current / up to date. Used hard drives open up the possibility of containing hidden malware, as I've also said previously, and in combination with lower longevity and not knowing what kind of use it was subjected to in the past, is that's usually trying to be hidden by the seller. And especially if it's like eBay or something where they don't take returns, then that's where you want to be really careful. If it has heavy workloads ran on it in the past, or even abused for like mining applications, then buying a used hard drive is one of the worst decisions that you can make when it comes to data integrity on a computer. And other options such as going for used processor, graphics card, RAM, or case, or motherboard can have your system contain better value overall when it comes to performance, and minimize your risk of data compromisation or lost files or associated downtime. Although either way you choose to go, please make sure that you have your data backed up in a safe storage solution, and that includes having many redundant copies of your data to lower your chance that the data is lost. Cloud Archive may be suitable for an archive of digital libraries, and for most reputable cloud storage, they're going to have a company that's already going to have your data backed up across many drives, across many data centers even, for your data to be safe. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching this video, which is generally towards computer hard drives. Please make sure to press the subscribe button for this channel, parentheses Boom Web Search, if you have not done so already, and have your bell notifications turned on to prevent missing any of our future content uploads. Note that the bell icon only appears to the right of the subscribe button after having selected the subscribe button beforehand. If you have any future video suggestions or changes to subjects of computer software, computer hardware, technology topics explain how technology works, or basically anything tech related, then please let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next content upload. Bye!